heat in temperature and thermometry. Here we have the JUPEB course outline, and they implore that we talk about heat capacity and specific heat capacity under temperature and thermometry. They were meant to discuss latent heat and explore internal energy, thermal conduction, and blackbody radiation. Yeah, so that's literally what we're going to be doing. So I will begin the concept by explaining what heat really is, because this branch of physics is what we call thermal physics. It's a part of physics that is discussing heat generally, it explaining all the property of heat, how heat tends to behave, both the intrinsic and extrinsic property of heat. That's what we're going to be looking at. So heat specifically has two major phenomena that we're going to use to describe it. I'm going to use the word thermal to describe heat, and I'm going to use the word caloric to describe heat. When we say heat is thermal, we are trying to say its properties are dependent on temperature change. That's what we mean by heat is being thermal. You understand? Its property has a lot of dependence on temperature change, while caloric here shows that heat has the ability to flow. It has the ability to flow. So the caloric and thermal property of heat are interrelated in the sense that its caloric property depends on the thermal property, in the sense that the difference in temperature between two surfaces will determine the flow rate of heat. So caloric is describing heat as an energized particle with the capacity to flow based on this thermal or temperature difference. So in essence, you can say that heat is a form of thermal energy. So the energy it possesses, which has an effect on its temperature. So heat is a form of thermal energy. It is a form of thermal energy that can be transferred from a thermally dense region. So it is transferred from what we call a thermal dense region to a thermally less dense region. So in a short way, these thermal dense regions are what we call hot regions. Why this thermal less dense region are what we call cold regions. So a region that is devoid or that has absence of heat is what we terminalize as cold. So you have to keep that in mind. So what are the properties of heat? So we have heat and their properties, heat properties. So one of the major properties of heat that we must explore is that heat can cause a change in state, and that's as a result of its ability to interact with intermolecular forces present in substances. You understand? You have intermolecular forces present within a solid. Those intermolecular forces get acted upon by heat and they get broken, and then that induces kinetic energy into them and makes them easier to move. That's, they become free to move. So that is what we call change in state, and heat causes that. Another thing again that heat can do is to result in thermionic emission.